The fine arrived on a Tuesday. $2,000 for swimming. In the lake my grandfather bought with cash from a white landowner who didn't think a black man would last a year. But I wasn't just a resident. I was on the HOA board. And when I saw her name on the violation, Diane Holloway, pink suit, clipboard like a crown, I didn't fight back with anger. I fought back with bylaws. Because when they fine you for joy, you don't scream. You restructure the fees. And make sure hers go up by exactly $6,000. I was born on that land, 1962. My grandfather, Samuel Carter, that stood 5'8", built like a boulder, with hands from work and eyes that never flinched. He bought 42 acres in 1937, $1,200 in cash, handed over behind a gas station in Gastonia, North Carolina. No bank would lend to him. No title company would process it under his name. So the deed was signed in a back office, witnessed by a black preacher and a Jewish shopkeeper, men who believed in fairness when the system didn't. That land had a spring-fed lake, clear water, tall pines, a dock he built from scrap wood. He taught all six of his kids to swim there. No whites-only signs, no lifeguards, just freedom. When he passed in 1999, I inherited it. I was a middle school science teacher, quiet, steady, not a protester, not an activist, just a man who loved his family's land. I built a modest home near the shore, kept the old dock, swam every morning before school. In 2008, the subdivision went up, Willow Pines Estates, 78 homes, gated, exclusive access to private lake. Except the lake wasn't theirs. It bordered my property. My deed gave me direct access. I didn't block anyone. I didn't charge a dime. I just existed, peacefully, legally, quietly. Then Diane Holloway moved in, 5-bedroom mansion, Tesla in the driveway. Pink power suit on move-in day. She didn't wave, she surveyed. By 2010, she was on the HOA board. By 2012, she was president. At first, the fines were small, a $75 penalty for overgrown native grasses near my shed. I appealed, denied. A $300 fine for unapproved solar light placement. I paid, not because I agreed, but because I knew how fast a black man gets labeled difficult for asking questions. But I kept the receipts, all of them. And I read the bylaws, cover to cover, because in my family, land wasn't just property. It was survival, and survival means knowing the rules better than the people trying to break them. The summer of 2023 was hot. 108 degrees for 3 days straight. I came home from a 10-hour school week, stripped down to my swim trunks, and jumped into the lake. No music, no guests. Just me, the water, and the silence I'd earned. 3 days later, the letter came. Violation notice, unauthorized recreational use of shared water body, $2,000 fine. Shared? The lake wasn't shared. My deed gave me sole shoreline access on the east side. The HOA bylaws stated, residents with direct water access may engage in personal, non-commercial recreational use. I was a resident. I had direct access. I filed an appeal. At the board meeting, Diane sat at the head of the table, pink suit crisp, HOA files folder open. She didn't look at me. She said, "We have standards. We have aesthetics. We can't have unregulated activity near the water." One board member asked, "Did he cause a disturbance?" "No," she admitted. "Was there property damage?" "No." "Then why the fine?" "Precedent," she said, "and policy." They voted 3-1 to uphold it. That night, I didn't sleep. I read the bylaws again, and I found Section 12, HOA fee adjustments may be approved by a simple majority vote of the board. I was still a board member, and I hadn't missed a meeting in 14 years. I started planning, quietly. I proposed a lakefront environmental stewardship initiative, new water testing, shoreline erosion control, security patrols, dock inspections. Sounded noble. Cost? $210,000, funded by a 300% increase in HOA fees phased over 2 years. The other members loved it. "Looks great for the newsletter," one said. Diane clapped. She didn't read the fine print. Buried in the proposal, properties with private water access are subject to an additional 100% surcharge due to increased environmental liability and usage. Her mansion had 120 feet of lakefront. Mine? Technically, all of it. The vote passed unanimous. She got her bill a week later. New assessment, $6,000, annual increase. When I saw her at the mailbox, pen trembling, pink suit wrinkled, I didn't smirk. I nodded. She fined me for joy. I used her system to tax her privilege. And the rules? I didn't break a single one. She called a special meeting, demanded a reversal. I was misled, she said. This surcharge wasn't discussed. I played the recording, her saying, "Sounds perfect. Let's vote." The bylaws were clear. The vote was legal. She turned to me. "This is personal." "No," I said. "This is policy." The room went silent. Within days, 3 other families came forward. A Latina woman fined $1,400 for excessive cultural gatherings. A black veteran fined $900 for unapproved flag display. It was the American flag. A mixed-race couple fined $2,200 for non-conforming fence color. It was white. I submitted all records to the county's Civil Rights Division. They launched an audit. Findings: 87% of fines over $1,000 in the last decade went to non-white residents. 0 appeals were upheld. Diane claimed it was coincidence. But coincidence doesn't write $2,000 fines for swimming. Coincidence doesn't target front yard gardens, music, or skin. The HOA board voted to dissolve. Fees frozen. Fines under review. And me? I didn't stop there. I filed a motion to transfer all future lakefront surcharge revenue into a scholarship fund for Black and brown youth in the district, covering swim lessons, environmental science camps, and college tuition. Approved. Unanimous. Diane resigned. Moved out 6 months later. The mansion sold at a loss. And every summer since, I host Freedom Swim Day. Free lessons, food, music. Kids jump in where fines once ruled, because joy isn't a violation, and water doesn't care who owns it until someone tries to take it away. This wasn't revenge, it was reciprocity. You fine me for swimming? I apply the same rule to your luxury lakeside living. You hide behind policy? I use that policy to expose the pattern. Racism isn't always a slur. Sometimes it's a pink suit, a stamped folder, a $2,000 fine for existing too freely on your own land. But when you fight back with their own rules, the system has no defense. My grandfather didn't win his land in court. He won it by enduring. I didn't win mine by yelling. I won it by reading. And that's the lesson. Know the rules, keep the receipts, and never let them redefine your belonging. Because land is memory, water is legacy. And peace? Peace is not something they grant. It's something you enforce. So ask yourself, where are the invisible fines in your life? What are you being punished for, just for being you? And what power do you hold that they don't know about yet? If this story opened your eyes, like this video and subscribe, because every week we uncover another truth someone tried to bury. And if you've ever been punished for just living freely, drop "I see you" in the comments. Because when we speak up, they can't pretend we're not here. Stay strong, stay smart, and remember, your joy is not a violation.